Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Education Smeducation. It's good to be here. My name's Mike O'Keefe. Hopefully, by the time this is out, the nation is still standing and everything's good. I haven't been watching the news lately. I should tell you we're recording this on January 12th. I haven't seen the news in a while. The only thing I know is that our numbers have been down lately. I will not surmise why, but I just know that the ratings are in the toilet. But I haven't seen the news, so I don't know why. With that said, I welcome in now the headmaster, Ken Hamlett. Ken, how are you doing today, buddy?
Hey, everybody. I'm pretty good. I don't understand why the ratings are down, but, that's neither here nor there. We're here for another week of exciting, educated-related comedy podcasts.
Thank you very much, Ken. I think in every single intro, we should run out of steam. I think that's our interplay.
That's my whole aesthetic with everything.
Yeah,
that's my whole life. I speak in a pattern that just runs out of steam all the time. So
I get it. Yeah. Why steam's overrated. Air, water.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Using steam with everything a long time ago. The only thing that uses steam now is freaking irons, and who uses those?
Tea? You drink tea?
Tea's overrated.
Tea sucks. I'm here to say it. If you're out there and you're listening to tea, shut this off. I will say this. The one thing I did check, and obviously we are 6 days out from the United States Capitol being stormed. It's obviously going to come up. Anyone who's listening to this, if you found your way through the labyrinth of other comedians and found your way here to this podcast, I gotta assume you're on the same side of the spectrum as I am politically. It sucks. Let's get these fucking pieces of shit out of here. There we said it. With that said, I do look at the numbers, and we have one guy in Belgium who loves us. Ken, what do you have to say to this Belgian fella?
Man, there was a moment there where I was going to try to speak some European language, but I got nothing. Ellbogen is elbow in German, I think. The Sprika de Deutsch. I don't know. Thanks, dude.
Always a joy, Ken. Always a
joy. really fumbling through that one there.
Anyway, let's bring in our guest. Our guest is a very funny man who you all know from two things. You know him from the Conan O'Brien program hosted by Conan O'Brien, co-hosted by Andy Richter, band led by James the Word Worman. He did a set on that. You know him from his documentary on Hulu called Be a Man, which is about being a man. I know him from the Acamal Comedy Festival in Acamal, Mexico, where we sat in a pool and he explained this documentary to me. And I was very drunk during the day. And I said, you know what? That sounds pretty good. And it turns out I was right. It's a very good documentary. Ladies and gentlemen, Ray Harrington's here. Hi, Ray.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Good. How are you? What's up?
Sorry, Belgium. There's one person in Belgium that's they're listening to the podcast.
Like clockwork. Every time we put out a new one, Belgium downloads and Belgium loves it.
Man, I mean,
first stop on the international tour.
I lived in Belgium for a hot second.
And in Belgium, if there's one listening, they just need to, spread the word, because I mean, God, at least 11. I'm going to say 11.5 million people live in Belgium.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. That's not on the pop quiz for today.
No, that would be
that
would be like the 22nd most densely populated country in the world, probably.
Okay, Belgium.
6th most densely populated in Europe, but
Yeah. Well, I think they would be. So your big five in Europe: England, Germany, Spain, France. England, Germany, Spain, France.
That was actually a dead on guess. It's 11.46 million people in Belgium.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
You really did nail that, Ray.
Wow. Wow,
That was
because I'm just
amazing.
thinking, like, they have a few cities. So I was trying to put the cities together, how much would be there versus some of the rural areas. So I mean, you got like the capitals, Brussels, obviously, and then Antwerp,
Where I lived.
Gent, Charleroi, Liège,
Bruges.
Bruges, Namur, Leuven. Things like that. I mean, I know legally Belgium is a sovereign state and a federal constitutional monarchy with a parliamentary system, but, who knows? Who knows? These are things we all know, just that we have them rattling around in our minds.
So when I lived in Belgium, I lived there for about 2 months in college, which is a great time to live in Belgium. And there was this place around the corner, and they had something called
Around
Bicky
the corner
Burger.
from Belgium?
Around the corner from Belgium. Around the corner from Belgium. It was a neighborhood called Holland. That's where I lived.
Beautiful place. Wonderful place.
Wonderful little neighborhood called Little Netherlands. But no, there's like this fast food place around the corner, and they had something called Bicky Burger, and I would get it all the time because it was €3. €3. And the
Like
guy
$9.
The guy who worked behind the counter, like after like a month of me getting this like 2 or 3 times a week, he goes, "Boy, you sure like Bicky Burger?" And I go, "Yeah, it just tasted like a fried chicken patty." That's what I just assumed it was. And I go, "Yeah, they're great. I mean, it's great. It's cheap. I love it. It's just so easy. I come in, I have a couple beers, I have a Bicky, I go and I'm good. It's lovely." And he eventually goes, "You know what it is, right?"
Oh no.
And I'm like, "Oh, it's just chicken." And he went, "Oh, buddy."
It's Bicky.
And that's when I'm like, my face melts, and he goes, that's horse." I went, "Oh, fuck."
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
So they hold on.
shout out to Belgium, I guess.
Belgium is just straight up fast food restaurant, fast casual dining style, giving people the option of horse meat.
And not really telling them either.
A cheap option too at that.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's insane. I could understand if it was something where it's like, you got to go to like this kind of restaurant and like it's on the menu, but you have to ask for it. But no, they're just like, in Belgium, our Ronald McDonald eats horses.
Yeah.
He's
he's like a jockey. It's terrible.
Hello,
In the
Belgian
States, he's a
Ronald
clown.
McDonald.
Here, he's a jockey. I hate it.
You're eating horses? Didn't you know this? Don't you know everything about the horse? I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the Belgian accent would be. You lived there for 2 months. What's a Belgian accent?
Honestly, you kind of nailed it. It's like it's French.
Yeah.
Oh, I was doing
basically
more of like a Germany kind of.
Yeah, it was like a German Dutch type of accent.
But you sounded a little evil, and after that Bicky thing, I think that's spot on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or maybe they were going through some tough times during, I don't know, pick a time when Europe was at war, and they had to eat horses, right? Because that's always, I feel like in movies, it's always like, when they turn to the horses, it's like, this is the rough time. This is when they didn't want to do it. But checkers, I'm putting you down. I'm going to eat you, right?
Yeah. Like you haven't won a medal in a while, dude. I got it.
Yeah, but maybe in Belgium it was like they did that for like it's World War II and they're struggling because Belgium is that's what kicked it off, right? Germany annexed Belgium, and then that's what kind of started everything because of all the treaties. Earlier I was reading Wikipedia. This is truly in my head, and I apologize.
Why were you reading the Wikipedia for Belgium?
I had the opportunity. You were talking about Belgium.
Okay.
You hadn't introduced me yet, so I was being quiet and polite, and I was like, I wonder what the details on Belgium are. But that's here's my theory. they had to eat horse during World War II.
Okay.
And then enough people in Belgium were like, "This is pretty good," you know.
I do not hate these. I
Let's
do
keep
not
doing
hate these
this,
at
you know?
all.
Can I say
This
something
is
real
a
quick?
delicious.
Can I say something? I'm just gonna say. I'm gonna put this out there. I would eat this again.
You know what? I'll say it 5 out of 5.
Look, if it was like the only thing open, I would eat it. You know, for sure.
Yeah.
I would not be upset about it.
We deep fry it. It's good.
I mean, come on, Subway, like helped a child predator get away with it for a long time. What's so bad about the horse? You know, come on in. Come to Bicky. What are you gonna do?
What's it got to do?
Come on, we just got Dr. Pepper. Things are looking up. Come on in, get a mule meal, and just enjoy yourself. You know, walk around the street, eat some horse, meet some people. It's Belgium.
Hey, come on.
Come on, Colin Farrell made a movie here. What are you gonna say about that? Eat a horse.
Very nice film. Magic
Now they're
place.
just berating people. Eat a horse. What's up? Oh, you too good
Eat
for a
it,
horse?
come
now?
on.
You're too good for
you
a horse?
pussy. You pussy. Just antagonizing people. You know you don't. You too good for horse.
Oh,
What,
you're from America?
Luxembourg?
Okay, all right. You don't know shit about canals then, okay?
Yeah. What?
So this
I'm trying to
podcast
think what else
is
happened in Belgium.
about Europe, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is tied into education because I was going to classes in Belgium. I wasn't just there for the fuck of it. I was doing.
What classes did you
studying
take in
abroad.
Belgium?
I took a couple world politics classes. I took a class on NATO, and I got to intern at NATO for a week, which means I made some very high level copies, very important copies. I poured some very important cups of tea. But yeah, it was good. It was nice.
I thought you meant you made high level copies like Edward Snowden that shit. Like you were just making.
Oh yeah.
It's like I'm just waiting for my moment to drop this bomb.
They check your clearance.
Yeah.
It's like this guy has access to a lot of secure information. It's like he doesn't even know he's eating a horse. He's safe. Don't worry.
Everybody in the office is like, that idiot.
Yeah, we can tell him whatever we want.
I see him come in with a horse bag all the time. He's got a paper bag of horse meat, and he sits down and he keeps. Oh, this cheeseburger is delicious.
Every day, horse guy over there.
I tell you what, he eats horse every day. He hasn't got any faster. Isn't that weird? It's weird.
Do you think anybody has tried to bring the franchise, the Bicky franchise to America? I just want to be in there. I want to be in the room for the pitch meeting where they're going through it, and then they know they're running up to dropping the fact that it's horse meat. They're just like they're getting closer and closer. Like it's good, right? It's good. It's good. You like it?
You're really liking
good.
it?
It's good. Here's the thing.
It's like the worst. It's like the worst Twilight Zone version of those commercials where they were at a very nice Italian restaurant and they're serving all this pasta and people are like, oh, this pasta's unreal. And then they're like, it's Olive Garden.
Yeah. It's horse.
But it's in this case like, it's fucking horse.
You like it? Yeah, it's so good. It's really good. What is this?
Really
Burger King? Try again. McDonald's? I don't think so. Hardee's? No. Sonic? Mm-mm.
It's Secretariat.
Oh. Yeah, you're like, Seabiscuit.
Oh no, is this that horse place I've been hearing about?
Yeah. You're eating famous racehorse Ring Around the Pete Rosie. That's a deep cut for
let's
our
stretch
jockey
this for
fans
the
out
hour.
there.
Let's just do this for the whole hour.
Oh, yeah, sure. Anyway, Ray, you went to school, right?
Yeah, I went to a couple of them. I went to a few. I went to a handful of schools in my life.
Yeah, which ones? Which one? Rank them.
Oh man,
rank them.
Rank them.
Yeah, rank.
All right. I'm gonna go with enjoyability. Number one for enjoyability, I'm gonna say it was college. I went to the New England School of Communications on the Husson University campus. That was fun because it was college and I knew what I was doing and what I wanted to do, sort of. It allowed me to find what I wanted to do. And then as far as like traditional K through 12, didn't have a lot of fun in K through 12. I'll be honest with you. I feel like a fraud here. I feel like the horse meat in this particular podcast situation because I'm on an education-based podcast and I'm a high school dropout.
Whoa.
way.
Yeah, there it is.
That's our second high school dropout. And our second. Also, we should mention really quickly, we'll have Ben Roy back on to record another one. We recorded an episode with the great Ben Roy, and it got lost, and we'll have him back on. Don't worry. But our second dropout, way to go, buddy! Our second Maine dropout.
Maine dropout. Something about that Maine school system.
About Maine.
Yeah.
Something about.
I don't know. I think I'm in the stereotypical camp of there was an opportunity somewhere in like maybe 5th grade or 4th grade to like catch me and challenge me and you know keep me on the track. I got bored very quickly, and then after that I was just on I was labeled like a problem kid because I got too bored and just started messing around, and I think it was over from there. I think once you gain that reputation, it's done.
That is the labeling thing is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Where if you put a kid on a certain track, just mentally it wreaks havoc on them, and then all of a sudden they're doing a bunch of other different things that their peers aren't doing, and it just it's not good. And what do you think could have like hooked you back in 5th grade, other than like a class on Ninja Turtles or whatever?
Yeah. I remember in 4th grade is when I started to really misbehave. Honestly, I had a shitty 4th grade teacher. My 4th grade teacher was terrible.
Dragger.
Terrible. Her name was Miss Switzer, and I hope she knows it.
Miss Switzer. Miss Beverly Switzer.
Yeah, I don't know her first name, and I hope it's still Miss. I hope she's fucking alone right now.
Yeah.
No, that's when I started to get bored, and I started to act out, and I started to disrupt the class, right? And that's when they started doing all the usual things with a kid that acts like that. They like IQ tests, talking to different counselors and therapists and trying to figure out what's wrong with Ray, what's going on here, what's happening. And my mom was a single parent raising me, and the school system just kind of steamrolled over her. And so they figured out I was smart, and then they tried to put me in advanced classes later on, like 5th grade, 6th grade, around there. They tried to put me in advanced classes, and so I went into those classes, and I was like, oh, okay, this is at least more interesting topics. They're talking about like books that I've read recently instead of I read those years ago or something like that. And all the kids in the advanced classes were boring. Oh my God, it was even more boring. It was the worst. It's like, take all the kids that are like too smart for like regular classes, not usually the most like entertaining, charismatic kind of kids, right? And
no, not at all.
No, and I was like, this is worse. At least I was bored with my friends in the other classes, so I had them put me back there.
I had like cohorts over there. Now I'm just it's me and Milton.
Now it's like all the kids that I'm not friends with and I don't care to be friends with, and they're like not exactly sociable people. And I think the big thing was just like the classes that interested me, that I liked, were teachers that grabbed me and like physically they touched me. No, I'm just kidding. No, they
would wrestle me to the ground and say, "Learn."
They would pin me, and sometimes I didn't know if I liked it or not, and it was weird.
Miss Beverly would never touch me. I just
Miss Switzer
they spit in my mouth and made me swallow it.
Yeah. And then they said, "Oh, in 2020, that's going to be real taboo." And they knew. No, I remember there were a couple of teachers that really got it, and they were like, "Hey, here, try this instead. Like, do this classwork, or let's get more engaged in like the class discussion and stuff like that." And those classes, I got A's in, and it was fine. Don't give me the traditional shit, and I'll be fine. And after that, I think it just got to a point where I was just like, "Yeah, I don't have to do this anymore." And it was so early in the morning, high school, it's ridiculous.
The worst.
Yeah,
the worst.
it's terrible, and it's weird because I think we all know, that that's not good for teenage brains and bodies. Like, we all understand it. We know, oh yeah, this is not good. Teenage kids need to sleep a lot. The idea of lazy teenager is kind of it's incorrectly labeled. So let's have school super early in the morning when physiologically we know that's not good for kids. But anyway, I just stopped going because I was just like, it's too early and it's very boring, and I'm just gonna get sent to the office and get a 3-day suspension anyway. So I'll leave.
That is how I quit my second job I ever had. I just stopped going. Yeah. I was like, I need to work at Big Boy anymore. Fuck this.
There's so much better meat out there, and I'm gonna find it.
Two beef patties. What about 2 horse patties? This is
I want to eat a lion. God damn it.
Yeah.
I feel like horse is good because horse is like it's like an economics like stratus. Like you could the strata of horse is fine. Like horse is the everyman's meat. You know what I mean? Like you can eat that and be like, ooh, I ate something different and weird, and it was horse. But if you want to eat like a lion, you have to be in a certain tax bracket.
I think if you eat a lion, you are a dickhead. I think you're an asshole.
What if the lion just died and you just partake?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then, I mean, we're talking about apples and oranges here,
Okay.
No, we're talking about lions specifically.
We're talking specifically about lions.
I was like, I thought we were talking about lions and horses, but whatever, dude.
No, you heard it here. Michael O'Keefe said, if you eat apples and oranges, you're a dick.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
This is a bananas only podcast, baby. You come in here, you eat a plum. If you're eating a plum, I'm giving you 5 fingers right in your face. No plums, no fucking satsumas. Anyway, the satsuma's like a clementine, but smaller and sweeter. It's good. I don't eat them though.
I think so.
Yeah. So I've, in anticipation of me becoming a teacher in a couple years, pending finishing school and whatever, I've been trying to get up when I would have to get up to go to school. And basically, here's what that entails. I don't get to sleep until about 2 or 3 a.m. I wake up at 6:30. I walk around my apartment once, and then I go back to sleep until 10. That's how that worked out. It's very stupid. It's very pointless, and no one should be up that early. It is a crime against humanity.
I just picture you walking around your apartment, like hands on hips, like, yep, okay, just looking at your watch. You do one lap, and then you're like, yeah, no, and then you just go back to bed. No, I did it. I can get up. I can get up at that time.
I have the physical capacity to be up at this time. I don't need to be,
Yeah. Oh, I do it. I know I can do it. Like I'm a night owl, kind of person. Like I get up late if I can. And I'm the kind of person, like if I got up at what did you say? 6, you said?
I try to do 6:15.
Okay. The amount of time you stammered over the time, you're full of shit.
Yeah. I don't know. Here's why. I don't know why it was so necessary. I needed to be accurate, and why it needs to be 6:15. Who
I get
fucking
up at
cares, O'Keefe?
6.
Oh, 6:15.
6:15.
Giddy up.
What sounds early enough?
What sounds early enough, but I don't want Ray to think I'm a weirdo. for this exercise where I get myself up early to check and make sure the door is still locked before I go back to bed.
Because notoriously break-ins are going to happen between 6 and 7 a.m. That's usually when a break-in is, prime break-in time.
Oh my God. You know what robbers always say, early bird gets the worm, baby.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Robbers are, if you go to a McDonald's at 6 o'clock in the morning, the people you will see there are elderly people drinking boiling hot coffee and robbers preparing. That's what he's, they put the mask like on the table.
Yeah.
And they're just, they have their hot coffee.
They have their empty burlap sacks with a dollar sign on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're just waiting to go rob someone.
Ready. Getting that McMuffin to start the day.
Yeah.
I don't know why I picture Robert De Niro and that's it. Just today's Robert De Niro sitting there because I think he's the Venn diagram, right? He's the criminal because of like Goodfellas, and Godfather, and all that stuff. He's there, and then he's very elderly, very, very elderly. So you put those two together, it's just Robert De Niro sitting in there. Ray Liotta's going through the drive-through. He's like, "I'll be in a minute."
Chantix.
Chantix. It worked for me.
It worked for Chantix. I stopped smoking. Now my head looks like a giant ham that a guy punched. It's terrible.
A giant ham that a guy punched.
There was at one of the movie theaters that we would go to on Christmas Day. I forgot what movie we were seeing, but they would play the Chantix Ray Liotta commercial before the movie, and the commercial was playing on the screen. A guy in front of us gets up and walks out and goes, "This is bullshit." Like he's mad at Ray Liotta for quitting. I guess.
He was up for that Chantix ad. He was so
James Wood sitting right in front of me.
It was James Woods, and then he came back in after the ad, and he sat down, and then there was like a Pepsi ad, but it was like a lesbian couple, and then he stood up again. He's like, "This is bullshit.
This is also bullshit.
I can't take this. One day, we will storm the Capitol."
Yeah, and it'll go. I will say this: there's something going around. Everything will work out. No one will get arrested.
Flawless.
Everyone will be able to get their flights 4 days later. It's gonna be great.
Ooh, somebody get me Banksy on the phone because I need a George Washington crossing the Delaware, but it's a U-Haul filled with Trump supporters trying to get into the Capitol.
Did you say Banksy or Bicky?
Oh, you didn't know? Bicky was a Banksy installation.
That was like a live art thing that they were doing for just
me? Yeah. He's very specific. Banksy started the whole like punked movement. At first, it was art.
The punked movement.
Oh, you got to get into it. It's the latest thing in Western Europe.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a big punk existentialism guy. I get really think about my life.
I'm more of a punk nihilist where I'm like sometimes a Wilmer Valderrama locked in a porta potty is just a Wilmer Valderrama locked in a porta potty. This is a fun podcast because we get to bullshit about insane stuff. I don't know if you can tell that I haven't done like traditional comedy in so long. I just want to do this with like-minded people. You know what I mean?
Oh,
but I like the podcast because it's like this insane shit. And then also I was like, yeah, so I dropped out of high school and it was pretty embarrassing time in my life. I realized I was a high school dropout and all my friends were going to school and I wasn't.
Well, like what made you write the ship, Like what got you back into Escuela? Sorry, school.
Thank you.
Me and Ray went to Mexico together to do comedy. It was fun.
That's where you learned the Spanish word for school, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Ray, can you do your famous character?
I will not do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
That's off the air conversation.
Yeah. No, because when you say that, when you say that, it makes it sound like it's inappropriate, like it's not safe to do on air. It's not
Yeah.
that at all. It was just ridiculous. It was basically like a shitty, like over the top American person trying to embrace like Spanish
Yeah.
customs and language because they
Yeah.
were like a tour guide. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But no, what made me right the ship? It had a couple of things going on. I dropped out of school. I was working and just hanging out with friends and stuff, and I got an apartment with a couple of friends, and it just got to a point where I was just like, I don't really like myself. You know what I mean? I just was not happy with who I was. I was pretty depressed, and I didn't know it. And I saw college as an opportunity to get away from that and change things. I didn't expect to go to school. It was kind of a mistake, or not mistake, but it was an accident. I was going to visit a friend of mine who was at the school, and he signed me up for an interview, and I didn't even know that was happening. He was just like, "Yeah, let's go tour the school. It'll be fun." And then I sat down, and it was like, "Oh, I guess I'm applying to the school," and so I did a test. There was like a written test thing I did with them, and I sat down and talked to them about stuff, and I liked what the school had to offer. And then the admissions woman was like, "All right, so you're in. All you have to do is get your GED."
That day that happened?
She didn't say like definitively you're in. She's like, "But if you finalize this paperwork, I can say, the odds are you are in. You would be accepted to the school."
So, and that all happened basically on a lark that was set up by your buddy.
Yeah, completely unknown, and
That's
but I
fascinating.
liked it, and I realized at that point, I'm like, okay, so I am a high school dropout. I would like to go do this because that was my first experience with college, was going to visit my friend, and I saw what it could be, and I wanted to do it. And this school was like, "Hey, come! You don't have a high school diploma? Get a GED, and then you're in." So it was just a technicality. So I went and got my GED and went to college. And then I was on the dean's list like the first semester. So it really is like once you find the thing, it's great. Not for everybody. For me.
I mean, for a lot of people though, like that's a very common story where, hey, I don't, regular school is whatever. I don't like writing these papers about books I don't want to read. Math is dumb, yada, yada, yada. And then they find, an avenue and it leads them to success. And I think this notion of, them labeling you when they labeled you, and then you eventually kind of taking the long way around and getting there to the school you eventually got into, that like middle part where they can go from that label to, hey, this is what this kid likes and excels at. I think that is like this missing piece in American education.
It's a huge missing piece. And it's so, I look back at that time, and I've had a lot of conversations about this over the past few years. I think having my son and, talking to other friends that are parents and, this kind of stuff comes up. You start thinking about this stuff. And there's that period of time right there where that window, there's no net, there's no path in front of you at all. And that's the moment. That's the one where you can flip a coin and decide which way you're going to go, because and you don't even know it. It's too late. Once you figure that out, it's too late. I look back at that and I'm like, I'm amazed that I didn't end up on a really shitty path. Really, really shitty
100%.
path. Yeah, because there was a lot of times where they were trying to steer that path, I don't know if this is like a national, I think it's national, Job Corps. Are you familiar with Job Corps?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember like right when I decided to drop out, I had a meeting with my mom and my principal and some other stuff was going on, and they were talking about options or opportunities or whatever, the guidance counselor, all that. And they pushed really hard toward my mom to try and get me to go to Job Corps. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what that was about, but I heard it's like, no, you live there. You go, you live there, you take your classes and you learn like a trade skill. And I was like, I don't know about that. I think I'm just going to drop out and, take my part-time job to full-time and smoke pot with my friends. That sounds better than this other thing.
Totally.
That sounds better than this thing that you're describing that sounds like the movie, the third Child's Play movie, where Chucky goes to like a military school. So I don't know why that just popped into my head. Do you guys remember that movie?
A lot of people would compare that to, I don't know, the military or prison.
Yeah.
I'm glad you went with Chucky 3. Good for you.
It was a military school. Okay. And he changed the paintball rounds to live ammunition for these children that were doing war games. It was amazing.
Oh my Lord.
That was the one that scarred me, actually. That was the one.
Really?
That was the one that scared the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why that just popped into my head. It did. I was thinking military school, and that was the first thing that came to my head.
Hey, we all got demons.
Yeah. Demons.
I think I was molested when I watched Child's Play 3. I think it stuck with me. It really scarred me. So it was one of my teachers pinning me to the ground.
Spitting in my mouth, making me swallow it.
It was my guidance counselor.
Yeah. Who was a horse.
Oh, it's all coming together. But it's crazy. So cut to years later, I have one degree from college. I'm going for my second degree because I just didn't want to leave. I liked college a lot. And I also was hiding from student loans. Once I found out that they can't come after you when you're still enrolled, I was like, I guess I'm getting a second degree. This is great. There were like 2 years where I was like, maybe I'll just do this until I die. You know what I mean? Good luck. You can't come after me.
What an amazing plan.
I'm taking classes, So but I was looking for a job at the same time, and I had just left one, and I applied for this job a friend of mine connected me with, and it was for Job Corps in the area, and it was because I was an RA at school, and this was essentially being an RA at Job Corps, and it was terrible. I went there for like a week. I did the job training stuff, and it was so depressing. It felt like like a prison. It felt like a child's jail where you get to learn how to be a refrigerator repairman or something. It was terrifying, and it was such a depressing place. I was like, I'm out. And I think back, and I'm like, that's where they wanted to send me. I think they were just like, we don't know what to do with you. Go there.
Job Corps, no offense to anyone who's listening to this who's in Job Corps or works for Job Corps.
No, of course, I think that's all fine. It's just,
if it works for you, awesome. But that is like the first thing a lot of teachers and guidance people go to when they think someone is a burnout. They're just
I think that's the problem. It's the institution. It's the institutionalization problem, and I think I think school is good. I loved college. I thought college was so important for me. It allowed me to figure out who I was, and I started to like myself after I went to college. And I was genuinely interested in subjects and learning, and it was a lot of fun. And my issue was I don't trust a lot of the system that's in place for public school, like K through 12 stuff. And it's the system sucks, and there are some really good people trying to do good in a bad system, and it's unfortunate. Long
Definitely.
pause there. Long pause.
No. No, I 100% agree. And
so what are you going to do to fix it?
I'm trying. trying.
That's what I came here for. You told me if I did this podcast, you told me Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez would hear this. You told me that there would be legislation. This is bullshit. All we've done is talk about Belgian horse meat.
That long pause was Mike going, fuck, do I want to do this forever?
Yeah. That's not true. That's not true.
Mike, I'll tell you this. This is true. I had two really great teachers in my K through 12 experience, and one was in middle school and one was in high school. My middle school teacher, Mr. Potter, remember him to this day. I looked him up recently. He's still alive. That's awesome. He was an older guy, and I'm really happy. Like, true. I mean, every cliche you can think of for a good teacher, this was the guy. Like, I would stand on my desk and say, "Oh, Captain, my captain," for this guy, and he was so great. And
Great.
So there is the ability to leave that positive, lasting impression. The other guy committed suicide. So those are
Great.
the two that really. I thought that would get.
Hey
a
man,
laugh,
if you
and
got
it
a
didn't. Now I'm
500
worried.
batting average, you're getting in the Hall of Fame. That's all I can
Yeah.
No, I mean, I went to all boys Catholic high school. I have crazy horror stories of like how like archaic some of the things that we had to do and how it had to go through to, but also I learned how to write there and I learned how to be funny there in my own way. And I also learned that, oh, there's different ways to do things. And it informed a lot of, you know, the adult that I became. So like there's good and bad in all of these things.
Yeah.
And as bad as it is for some people, I mean, we've had a couple we've had a couple guests on here who basically said the same thing you said, was like, I hated school. And then eventually we get to a certain point in the show and they're like, you know what? There was like 3 sick teachers that I loved and that were super gnarly and they just shredded so hardcore. Why did I say
Was this a skateboard school?
Yeah. It was Woodward Academy.
Yeah. It was Tony Hawk. That was the teacher.
It was Tony. It was Professor Bob Burnquist, and he was.
I saw him do a 900, and then he got off the vert, and I was like, I understand math now. He made me get it.
Poetry in motion, Professor Hawk.
Yeah. Oh man, I was like, I'm never gonna need to know geometry, and then he said, how are you gonna glean the cube if you don't? Gleaming the cube. That was another. Oh man, I'm pulling some weird movies out of my mouth tonight.
That is a very. Do you remember the HBO show John from Cincinnati?
I don't.
Okay, it's terrible.
I like how I pulled a couple.
It's real. It's very real.
Like I pulled a couple of references that were like out of left field, and then you felt safe, and you were like, okay, now I can pull my weird one, and then
I can
immediately
finally
I
talk
don't know
about
what that is, and this is bullshit.
I've been waiting to talk about this.
No, it's
John
something I
from
can talk about.
Cincinnati. That sounds like that sounds like a
What the fuck?
romance.
That's
novel.
a show.
Yeah, it's on HBO. You can all watch it right now on
it's a
HBO
show.
Max. It's terrible.
It was 2007.
What the fuck was that guy's name who made it though? It was the same guy who made Deadwood. He made Deadwood right before it. And
Before it, so he got done with
Kim Nunn and David Milch.
David Milch. And then after that, he made the official
classic Milch
HBO show of the Bicky Burger, which is Luck.
What? Twinkie Burger.
The official show of the Bicky Burger, which is Luck, which is a movie. It was an HBO show about horse racing, and they had to cancel it because a horse died. It's a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of.
100%.
Oh yeah.
The Bicky Burger came from.
Yeah.
Horse racing is fucking barbaric. It's there's so many horses that I do comedy in all over the country, but I live in New England, and so I work a lot around here. And in upstate New York, I work a club up there. That's a lot of fun, and it's in Saratoga, and that's where they have horse races.
Oh.
And every year I go up there, there's always a conversation. Somebody's just like, another horse died. Another horse died. It's just every time I go up, oh, they had another horse got shot at the track. I'm like, why? What? This is tourism for you? It's insane. Look at those beautiful creatures. Look at them. Oh, out in the field. Now bring them in. Have them run around in a circle, and then we'll shoot them.
Oh, that's nice.
Wear a
That's
pretty
real
hat.
nice.
Wear a pretty hat. We're gonna shoot a horse. It's insane.
But in John from Cincinnati in the pilot, they're surfing in the show, and the one of the guys they're surfing. And he goes,
surf,
I gotta
right?
go. What's up?
They surf in Cincinnati.
Yes, they surf on the river there, on the Ohio River. Yeah. But one of the guys says, I got to go dump out because that's his way of saying I have to go take a shit.
Oh.
And it's stuck in my mind because I don't think gleaming the cube was ever a real skateboard saying. And I don't think any surfer has ever said, I have to go dump out. Ken, your thoughts?
Gleaming the cube. I don't know what that means because mostly circle, like you're skating on circles and half circles and stuff and quarter circles. So that I don't get that reference at all. But dump out seems reasonable. Like
it's so gross though. Surfers aren't gross. They're nice. They're nice men.
They're not gonna shit on themselves though. Like,
there are a lot of lady surfers out there.
A lot of lady surfers, and they're gonna go freaking dump out also.
I bet a lady surfer is pretty casual about that, though. You know what I mean? Because there are no airs when you're surfing. I feel like the typical like the cliche of a SoCal surfer, right, is gonna be like out on the waves, just catching it, dude. I gotta go dump out. You know what I mean? Like it's very casual.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are surfer ladies that are just like, I'll be right back. I gotta go dump out. I don't know. That sounded more Philly. I apologize.
I was about to say that's a Philly accent.
I gotta dump out.
I gotta go get a hoagie at the wall. Dump out.
Yeah. I gotta leave my surfboard at the Wawa. I gotta dump out.
Dump out. Get a hoagie.
Gotta dump out.
At the Wawa.
I have too many hoagies. Now get dump out.
I gotta get out of the water. I gotta get out of the water. I gotta go take a shit.
Dude, this water's cold.
This water's tame, dude. There's like no ways.
Flyers. Philadelphia Flyers.
Water. All right. Sorry. What is happening?
Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
This is a very weird question they ask you at morning radio question, but I think it kind of applies because you've mentioned that you got these labels. Were you disruptive in a funny way? Were you like funny in like high school, middle school?
I like if only the listener could see your facial expression when you asked that question.
Yeah.
It was just like
because if they ask it every single time you do morning radio.
Yeah.
Were you funny as a kid? It's like I don't want to.
But you asked that question, and the facial expression that you had is like if you were talking to a doctor about a problem you were having, and then they said, well, are you having like watery stool or that was the facial expression.
Is your urine also blood? Is that what you mean?
Doctor, I'll be honest, it's more blood than urine at this point. I know you're supposed to be concerned if there's blood in your urine, but I also have urine in my blood. Is that a problem? Is that a concern anyone should have?
And I have shit in all of it. It's really bad.
I'll be honest with you. Yesterday I vomited, and it was I dumped out through my mouth. Is that something? Is that a problem? And there was blood in it, but it could have been beets. So, to answer your question, I think I was funny when I was disruptive. For sure, I enjoyed making people laugh. But I think it was more like boringly psychological because laughter was the easiest way to get everybody looking at you. You know what I mean? Like you're in a classroom, and so the clearest like break of the moment is everybody laughing. So I don't think it was me going, and I don't mean like, oh, if I get them to laugh, they'll all pay attention to me. It wasn't that. It's just I think it's the easiest thing to do to disrupt a class beyond like throwing a textbook. You know what I mean? Like that's I don't want to do that, but making people laugh, that I'll do that. But I wasn't in control of it really. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't funny in a way where somebody would like be like, now that's a good joke. You know what I mean? Like that's quality. I was just like a shitty kid making kids laugh, and I didn't know when to stop or how far was too far or anything like that. But it definitely did become like a thing of, oh, this is how I make people like me. Okay. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely had this. I had a very similar thing where I thought, oh, okay, if I can get someone to laugh, then the day will seem a little bit less long. And I'm probably going to feel a little bit better.
That's how I
Like it
feel
was
when I'm in
immediately that
Saratoga.
correlation. What's up?
Sorry, I said that's how I feel when I'm in Saratoga. If I can get somebody to laugh, this day won't feel so long.
Yeah. But even then, it was just like this. It wasn't like, oh, this is how I get attention and love. It was just like, well, if I make people laugh, I'll probably feel better about myself, and that's going to be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always think like even when kids are funny in high school and in middle school, it's there's not a lot of cerebral comics in their mid-teens.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going out on a ledge saying that these aren't expert joke writers. There's no Jack Handys walking around in high school
Oh,
hallways.
it's a lot of physical comedy.
It's a lot of physical comedy. A lot of
A lot of impressions and a lot of like,
personality.
regurgitating stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God, that's if you want to be the funniest 12-year-old, or funniest 25-plus-year-old who works at any of the places I used to work at in an office. just see 2 Will Ferrell movies and 2 Vince Vaughn movies and remember a little bit of them and you're golden.
I do. You just said a phrase that really perked my ears up, and I think we need to pitch this to a network.
Okay.
Funniest 12-year-old. Right.
Okay.
Only
You're
check
onto
us out.
something.
We bring all these fucking 12-year-olds out on the stage one at a time with adults as the audience. And then
Yeah.
they do their 12-year-old shit. And then just like America's Got Talent or something like that, where people, I don't watch the contest show, so I don't know. But I do know from seeing clips that they get brutal sometimes, right? Don't people like boo them and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That needs to happen.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched a contest show since I believe season 2 or 3 of American Idol.
Wow.
So I don't know. But the whole angle on that was the British guy was very brutal. So yeah, I think that's the way to go.
The only contest show I ever watched, and they did it for one season when American Idol started. I want to say it was like UPN did a show or WB did a show.
Yeah.
And it was, it's amazing. And I can't believe they did it. And I wish they continued it. It was a fake American Idol style show. And they knowingly picked all of the worst singers, said they sounded great, and they were picking the worst one. And they did it for a season of television.
It's amazing.
And lied to these people. It's amazing. And I'm sure like they just had to stop because like somebody's going to kill themselves. So we can't do this anymore. Like there will be
couple
we will
people.
have a season. Yeah.
That's just the season finale. Like
Yeah.
No, the season finale, there's a
killing
bonus
themselves.
episode after the season finale, and it's just an hour of footage from that person riding in the cab to the airport after the show to fly home. And they have to sit there and think about what they just won.
And that show is called John from Cincinnati. That's almost as fucked up as The Swan. Do you guys remember The Swan?
Is that the one with the they get plastic surgery and they look
Yes.
pretty or not? Like they look weird. They look like Uncanny Valley weird.
Yes, they all look like video game cutscene characters. It's very and
Yeah.
and they like unveil them to their friends and family, and then all their friends and family are just like, "What did you do?"
Yeah, that's the best
And
part.
it's not
That's the
like
best
you
part.
can. It's
Can
not
go
like you
back.
can reverse that either. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, it's not a bad song that you just sang. Like
Yeah.
you are
Yeah.
just stuck
Yeah.
with that.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like you
I-
warbling through "Wind Beneath My Wings." That's your face.
that show is amazing because I did see like 1 or 2 of those, and my favorite thing I saw a bunch of it. But my favorite thing about it was when people, were revealed, they were unveiled. The look on their family and friends' faces was like someone redecorated their home and it was awful, but they needed to look like, oh, this is great. Like getting a bad present. Like you get a bad present from somebody in your family that doesn't know you well, and you're like, oh, it's great. Their eyes gave it away, and they're just like, you look so fucked up. Their eyes are just, what did you do? I mean, sure, you were pretty ugly before, but like you looked human.
Like, even if you were ugly and they made you look pretty, like, how fucked up is it? Just
gotta,
like,
just
your family. They're like, wow, holy crap, you're not ugly anymore. Goodness gracious, you were ugly to look at.
I don't think I would do that for, I mean, what amount of money gets you in the door to do that?
Right. I think for me, like 10K.
10K?
I think so.
10K to change your face?
10,
Ken, you're a very handsome man.
I do it for 10K and a TV credit. Like, that's pretty important.
Ken, I'll be honest with you. I would pay 10K to walk away looking like you, my dude. I would feel better looking like you. No offense to Mike, but I think we all know the truth here.
I would pay 12K. I would outbid Ray.
I have a TV credit. I have a TV credit. I don't even need to worry about it.
I don't even need it.
Oh man, no, I love that idea because it's friends and family. Like they know you and they love you and they're fine. And it's like you unveil yourself and it's like, yeah, but at least before I was used to the kind of ugly you were. Now I have to get used to different weird shit on your face.
New ugly.
This is new ugly. I don't.
I deal with new ugly.
It's like I know the Beatles. It's like the Beatles are John, Paul, George, and Ringo, not John, Paul, George, and ugly. I can't do this.
It's terrible. Like, your house. If you look around your house, your apartment or something, some blemish is there, right? Something is like there's a thing on the drywall or some shit, and you're just so used to it, you don't even see it. You don't even see it. But you would see the tiniest thing. Like you go into a hotel room and you're like, oh, look, there is a burn mark on that drape, and this is a Holiday Inn Express. This is not some motel. There's a burn mark. Meanwhile, you go home and there's just trash on the ground or some shit, and you're like, it's fine, it's beautiful, it's like a home in here.
It's mine. I remember it.
And those people traded their own ugly.
A little bit of ash on the carpet at the Radisson. Just a little bit.
This is a very tiny man complaining at the lobby. Is that your new character that you're working on?
Of course. This is my tiny fastidious character. I go up and I go, excuse me, sir. David, can I call you David? All right, thank you. There was a little bit of condensation on the window. Just saying.
I like how he gets wheeled out in like one of the carriage carts. He gets wheeled out like for. he tucks himself in between two suitcases. That's fun.
I love to fly because I don't have to buy a full ticket.
I like to sneak into. I see somebody with a kennel, a little dog kennel carrying crate, whatever. I can't do that voice, and it just totally fucked me up, and I couldn't. I had a stroke just now.
Too big. I say, is this one of those planes that still has the ashtrays in the seat middle part things? And they go, yes. And I say, that'll be fine for me.
No ticket needed. I can't do the voice.
Yeah. Put some more water in there so it's like a hot tub for my tiny body.
This is insane.
Education.
School.
Education.
Do we need them?
That's a great question. Do we need school? I say yes. Ray, you say yes?
I say yes for a couple of reasons. One, I went to school until I didn't, and then I went back to school, all that stuff. Two, I have a 6-year-old child. That
this is the next
fucking kid needs to go to school. Get him into the building. Like, oh my, I remember because I've been cheated. I have not. The pandemic hit, and he was
Right at school
like,
age.
yeah, he was part way through
kindergarten.
kindergarten. He didn't even have a full year of school. So he went to school for a part way of kindergarten, and then he finished up at home. And then I think since then he's been in school for maybe like 3 weeks in all of this, and he's still at home now. And I remember my wife, like the day he went off to kindergarten and he got on the bus and he went to kindergarten. I got up and I went to the bus stop, that morning with her, and he got on the bus and I took a picture with my phone, and I was there partly for him, but mostly for my wife because my wife started crying and she was upset, and makes sense. And I was just like, this is okay. You have to understand. Think about how much we're saving in daycare. Like that's the key here. Get him to school. And if you think about it, public school is insane. It's just a town coming together, or a city coming together and going, is this the building we take our kids to? Great. Is this the building I drop them?
Complete strangers.
I better get it back at the end. Let me get it back at the end of the day. I give you the kid, I get it back at the end of the day. That's the deal. And if they want to play lacrosse, let them play lacrosse.
It's essentially valet parking.
It is valet parking. Yeah, public school is valet parking for children. You have your ticket. You're like, excuse me. Excuse me.
I
dropped this off. There's a scratch on this one. There is a scratch on this. It wasn't there when I dropped it off. Yeah.
I'm gonna need your boss's number.
Yeah.
And a couple of free mints.
I left a joint in this one's pocket, and it's gone.
I guess the only difference is like with valet parking, like you never hear a story about like, oh, and it turns out the driver was fucking some of those cars. Like that doesn't happen. But that's I'm pro school. I'm a pro school guy, I guess.
Yeah. I have two kind of questions related to this, and if one is a little bit too whatever, you don't have to answer it at all.
Okay.
Number one, if he's in a similar situation as you were in your high school years, or in your middle school years, what do you do?
Yeah, so I've talked about that with my wife. As soon as like even when he was in daycare, and like because we did the daycare hunt, we were looking for the right daycare. We found a daycare that was very like school oriented. So he was, he was doing like pre-K like a year before pre-K, that kind of thing. And I was happy with that. And I've talked to my wife about my past with school and my experience. I think the biggest thing is just being a proponent for my kid, like being a spokesperson for him, being in his corner is going to be a huge difference, because I don't blame my mom, but she was a single mother, and you have a school which was just like the principal, the vice principal, so a bunch of men just telling my mom what's best for me, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing. And I think there was a tendency to acquiesce to that, and that sucks. But and there was a lot of bullshit of like tough love. Like, oh, Ray doesn't have a dad. Oh, so he's got to have the discipline and shit. It's like, dude, cool. Like, that's what every fucking older man wants to do, is give tough love to me as a kid. It's like, that's great. Everybody showed me how to be a hard ass, but I can't hug a man as an adult without being very weird about it. That was very personal. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. But I think the fact that you're there for your son is great, and that's already an advantage, I feel like. You know?
Just being a proponent for your kid, I think being active in that, and not just like, as long as you don't just drop your kid off at school and then just be like, yeah, all right, bye, and have like a very dissociated thing of that, or just have the expectation that school will do the teaching. You know what I mean? That's insane. Because there are parents that are, shitty. Look, there are shitty schools. There are for sure shitty parents, and when that combines, it's not good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What age group are you hoping to teach, Michael?
Secondary. So anywhere from 6 to 12.
I don't know. I just enrolled in this program. It was accepting people.
I just thought it'd be a fun way to blow $16,000. I don't know.
Oh, thank God you said $1,000 at the end of that sentence. Whew. The first half of that sentence was dangerous. I just thought it would be a fun way to blow 16, and then if you didn't say $1,000,
if it paused again, you're like, Mike.
yeah.
Finish this incriminating.
Mike comes back, make that 17.
17. In certain states. Second. So 6th grade to 12th grade.
I heard it's not illegal if you marry them after. I don't know the law, but what, we were dating.
I did it the right way. What? There's no right way.
I asked her parents if it was okay, and they said, "Sure, I guess." And then here we are. I don't know. So you said 6th grade to 12th grade. You said?
Yeah, anywhere in there is where I'll be certified for.
Okay, all right. Are you hoping you get them around puberty or like fairly after puberty?
See, this has come up a couple of times. I'd rather have them, I think 8th grade or 9th grade is what I would like to shoot for, because that's the most confusing time. And I think that's also the time where they're not challenged. I don't remember being challenged at all as like a freshman. And everything was just like, oh, it's scary and it's new. But there wasn't any like, hey, let's start thinking about what you actually want to do and what you're interested in. Let's figure this out. So I think that would be where I'd be most effective and kind of where I'm focusing right now a little bit.
Yeah, I think for my school experience, I think my school system was so hung up on the curriculum and just like doing the curriculum, and every day was it just felt like every day started with like the factory whistle and like the machine started up and it just happened. And I think a lot of times I started acting out because I was just like, this keeps moving no matter what. This machine will keep moving. Even if all of these kids eventually tune out, the machine keeps moving. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to throw a wrench in. I'm going to see what happens. I want to see something break. I want to see something different. I want to see something change in this room. I want this room to feel alive for 5 fucking seconds because it doesn't. And so what I would say is you got to bring puppets, Mike. You got to bring the puppets.
I'll bring I'll bring Walter. Yeah. I'll bring Peanut. I'll bring jalapeno on a steak. I'll bring them all.
All of them. And then they're going to teach the class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know on your schedule it says with Mr. O'Keefe or whatever name. I'm going to have a stage name for teaching because apparently you can do that.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. You can have a professional name. So
get the fuck out of here. Like a writer's name?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. You know the name I'm going with?
You can't.
Ken Hamlett.
I was going to say, you guys kept saying, oh, you can have a stage name like this or like this. And I'm like, nobody's going to say porn? That's what it is. You have a performer name and you're like, this is it. That's what it is. But I think that's good because that way, if you have legal trouble in one district, you can move to another and just change your name.
Very easily.
Yeah.
Very easily.
Now you're thinking. Now you're a thinker.
Oh, that was Mike O'Keefe. This is Mark O'Feef. and then all the puppets have fake mustaches now. I've never heard of him before. You know?
Sounds like a real creep over there.
Let's hope we beat their high school in the big game today.
Yeah, that Mark O'Feef guy. I met him for the parent-teacher meeting, and It was weird. He made me address the puppet. It was very disturbing.
Yeah.
To find out my child is developmentally delayed from a puppet was humiliating,
It really
but
was.
also comforting.
Yeah. Well, anyway, off to my parent-teacher conference for my next kid. The teacher is Mitch O'Keefe. Is that? Am I reading this right?
And he does Mitch Hedberg one-liners.
He does Mitch.
But
Just a
they're
low
all
budget
based
school.
around.
They have one teacher and 12 puppets. It's just
It's like he wrote the classroom is never shut down. It's just temporarily stairs. That doesn't make any sense. Oh man.
That was good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's get into this pop quiz. Ray, you've been a fantastic guest. This has been lovely. Thank you so much for giving us some of your very valuable time.
Well, listen, before I fail this pop quiz, I want to say this. I want to thank you for having me. I have missed these insane rambling conversations with you, Mike O'Keefe. It's just a lot of fun. And I really appreciate that I got to meet Ken. Ken seems like a great dude. I think Ken's cooler than you, Mike, and I think we can form a bond here. So here's my pitch. We start a podcast. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
You and Ken?
I think we should. We should call it Smeducation Edumation. And
and our podcast is about adult education.
Oh, okay.
And we just
So
talk
it's
to
just
people.
you guys going to night school and shit.
Yeah.
I was thinking like dildos and stuff. I don't know where my mind went.
Oh. Well, we'll have a talk about
Different
where
ideas,
the direction of our podcast goes. Oh, let's go. Okay, combine those two things. We convince porn stars to go back to school.
I love this.
Every
I'm all in
episode,
on
we
this
get a porn
podcast.
star on, and we convince them to go back to school.
What?
That is the best
So
podcast.
let's role play a little bit of this. I'll pretend to be the most famous porn star of all time, Christy Canyon, and you guys convince me, Christy Canyon, to go back to school.
Okay, it's Christy Canyon. How many films do you currently have out?
Oh, like a whole bunch.
Whole bunch.
Wait a minute. Wasn't this the same person that was like riding in the ashtray of an airplane?
No, this is a Southern lady's voice.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
Right.
Mind your tongue, child.
Isn't that
I'm
one
a
of the,
Southern
isn't that the title
belle.
of your movie? Isn't that one of your movies? Mind Your Tongue.
No, I was only in Mind Your Tongue, child 8.
All right, Christy. Well, if you went back to school, you would have a number for how many movies you were in, Christy.
Yeah.
What?
Everybody should learn personal accounting software, Christy Canyon.
Yeah.
You
And,
need
Do
to,
you guys know
you
I've
don't
been
need to-
married 4 times?
4 times.
Wow.
I'm 54 years old.
You're 64 and you're still doing porn. I think it's about time you went to school, Christy.
I think you need to go to school, meet some new people, find a new path in life.
Okay.
and you can
You
find
did it.
some.
Oh, that was
You
easy.
convinced
She
me.
said yes. All right. Episode 1.
I was gonna
is
say
in
you
the
can find
can.
some college kids that'll do the videos for free. So this is
I'll go to like Emerson or something.
get off the couch and do something with your life. Everett.
Christy, listen.
So
The internet
DeVry.
the internet comes for us all, Christy, and OnlyFans and was a thing, but now the pandemic hit, and when you put the two of them together, what that means is I think everybody is gonna have a OnlyFans. So you're out of a job, Christy. You're just out of a job. I think porn's just gonna turn into like Uber, and it's
Yeah.
just like OnlyFans, and it's people you know, which is insane. It's insane.
Wait a second. Did you say porn is going to turn to Uber? I'm going to download the Uber app in a second. 'Cause that's now you're onto something. All right.
I was thinking the two things I haven't said in a long time is where is my Uber and oh shit, there's a bachelorette party on Second Show Friday.
Oh yeah.
I haven't
That's
said either
beautiful.
of those things in so long, and the longest I've ever gone as an adult without saying either of those two things. Very worth stopping everything. What were you gonna say, Ray?
No, it was just about OnlyFans. It's pointless. Don't even matter. It's all good. It's just weird. It's weird that I know a couple of people. It's weird. I'm not on OnlyFans. I'm on it, but I'm a performer. So I'm not a customer. I'm a product on OnlyFans. But
Okay.
I don't know. I just saw like a couple of friends like recently, like on Instagram. Like I follow, my friends, on Instagram. And suddenly, like, the pictures are changing. And I'm like, what is this? And it's because they're advertising their OnlyFans. And I'm like, this is weird. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I know you. That's not supposed to happen.
It is odd. It's odd. And there's a lot of like comics from here
Yeah.
who hopped on it. And I'm just like, go for it, I guess. I'm not
It's
one
just
to judge.
I just
Like-
didn't think that evolution of internet was going to be right now. It makes perfect
Yeah,
sense when you
it does
think of
seem
it,
a
like,
bit early, eh? Yeah.
but it makes sense sociologically. It really does. But
Mhm.
I think that's what's going to happen now is we're going to get to a place where like a bunch of people have a little side gig of making porn. Just for a couple people, they sign on, they do their thing. Like somebody who like dabbles in fucking driving for Lyft or something. That's what's gonna happen. It's so crazy. But okay, thank you for having me. Let's do this pop quiz.
I love it. I love it so
We got
much.
a prediction in. That's great.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Ray Stradamus.
I don't like
Anyway.
that. It sounds very different.
It
Oh, that's
doesn't.
the guy-
It sounds like you're the Nostradamus of racism. That's what it
Yeah.
sounds like.
I was gonna say it sounds like the guy that kills the horses at the racetrack, Ray Stradamus.
That man's name's Bicky. All right.
Yeah, it's like Bicky needs you, buddy.
Bicky.
You're
Bicky.
gonna go to the big burger joint in the sky.
By the sky, we mean Southwest Brussels. Okay,
Oh,
so
the worst part of Brussels is the Southwest Brussels.
bad.
I don't know.
So what we started doing at the beginning of this is now, I think this is the 7th or 8th one that we've recorded. At the beginning, I was asking people questions from the subject they did best at in school. And that was very fun. What I've started to do now, and what I think I'm going to continue to do, I ask them trivia questions about stuff that I know that they love a lot. Because this is for charity, and Ray told us before the show, he's playing for Family Services of Rhode Island. So for each correct answer, we will give $5 to Family Services of Rhode Island. If you match our donation, which will definitely be $25, because for each question you get wrong, I get right. So it's someone's getting a right answer.
I will match the donation
aloud.
for sure. I will sure match the donation.
For sure. Ray's going to match it. If you match it and then send me the receipt on Instagram, we'll shout you out on the show, and you will be inducted into the Mike O'Keefe Circle of Admiration. Doesn't that sound nice? Ray, Be a Man was the documentary you put out a couple years ago. It's fantastic. In that documentary, you get to ride in the real DeLorean from Back to the Future. So we got some Back to the Future questions.
Oh, okay. All right. I feel safe now. I feel safe.
Yes.
I also thought you were talking to me and not the listener when you said if you match the donation. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it.
No. I wasn't. I was talking to the listener. What if I did strong arm every get? Like, listen, you also have to give $25 to this thing you just told me about. All right.
You should do that. You should do that and be like, I'll pay $5 for every answer you get right, but you should do $20 for every answer you get. Yeah. And then have every guest be like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
All right.
All right. So these are Back to the Future questions, right?
These are Back to the Future questions.
Okay.
Would you say Back to the Future Part 1 still your number one favorite film of all time?
Ooh, part 1. It's part 1 and part 2 are kind of hand in hand for me.
Okay.
I love them both very much. Part 2, I think, was the one that like made me go, I love this when I was a kid. So it's still like the one. I think that's my favorite movie. Yeah. It was when I was a kid, and it definitely stayed that way for a long time. Now I'm an adult, so I'm just like, I also like, other things too. But Back to the Future. That was a long way around to saying yes. I'm sorry.
Nice. No, I saw it we saw it at the drive-in a couple months ago. It's still one of my favorite things I've ever seen in my entire life.
It's so good.
It's,
It's so tight. The script is fucking It's great.
It's great. Anyway, here we go. Here's question number 1. What did they rename the Twin Pines Mall in Back to the Future 1?
Oh, the Lone Pine Mall.
There we go. That's number 1. That's number 1.
I've been
very
there.
Good. Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's nothing special. I mean, it's just a mall in
it's a mall.
in City of Industry in LA or outside LA, and so it's nothing special. But I was there, and I was like, oh, look at this! It's the mall. Cool.
My girlfriend went to the high school that they filmed Ferris Bueller at, and people will, when you go to your significant other's hometown, they drive you around and they're like, hey, that's where I went to high school. The first
that's
time
where
she
I got
brought
fingered
me,
over there behind the Arby's over here.
Yeah, that's where I got fingered, Chicago.
That's where I got fingered behind the Arby's. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that as any.
I got fingered by that Arby's.
I got a beef and cheddar and a couple fingers for my trouble.
Yeah. No ketchup on the hot dog. But,
it ain't no Bicky Burger, but it'll do.
It'll do.
It'll do in a pinch. Speaking of pinches,
I'm drinking out of my DePaul Yeti. It says "Here we do," and I think it should say "Here will do." But anyway, my joke I do every day to myself. Question number 2. What was Doc Brown's original family name?
Oh my God. Oh no.
Question.
Original family name? That has to be from 3, right? That has to be from 3?
Yeah.
3? You give me a question from 3? 3 is like is a no bueno. That's no thank you.
It's not good.
No, it's not great. I think it's just there's too much fun that you can have with Back to the Future, and then they were like, "We'll do it in the Old West," and it's like, yeah, but there's nothing to do. So I'm gonna say it was originally, it was Brownstein, but he changed it for when he moved to L.A. Right?
Brownstein Bears.
It was Von Braun.
Von Braun. Damn,
Dutch.
That's weird.
Dutch.
That's weird. That's a weird thing because Werner von Braun was a German like bomb inventor. Werner von Braun. That's weird.
I think that's probably why they gave him the name. Yeah.
That's insane.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
That means Doc Brown is like the grandson of Werner von Braun. That's insane. All right.
Oh, can you do me a favor real
Family
quick?
Service of Rhode Island didn't make it. All right, yeah.
Do me a favor, just real quick. Just say the word Werner von. Just say Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun.
The actor.
I didn't know where this was going, and that was delightful. That was fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, what is the name of this? This is very fitting because of what we just talked about. What is the name of the high school that they used as Hill Valley High?
I'm gonna guess based on context clues that it was Ronald Reagan High School. No. Damn.
Whittier
John F.
High.
Kennedy.
Whittier.
What's that? Whittier High.
Yeah.
Oops. Man.
Okay. They're getting 25 anyway.
Family Service isn't
But it's
gonna.
fun to do this.
Oh boy. Are you gonna tell the foster children that they can't have diapers?
Yeah,
Because, sorry, Ray
It's
fucked
gonna
up
be
on
me
this trivia.
personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, blame Ray. You know? Who's Ray? Here's 5 minutes on Conan.
Oh God. Don't worry.
That
He didn't
sounded
have
like
a
a
dad
slam,
either.
but it's 100% not. It sounded very dismissive, but I was like, yeah, this guy, and then I showed him the set.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I get it.
here's number 4. What was the name of Marty McFly's subdivision?
Marty McFly. Oh man, you are pulling like deep cut. I mean, This is in Back to the Future 2. It's the subdivision of his company, right? That he's working for. Or are you talking about the like where he lived? Lion Estates is where he lived is Lion Estates. I thought you meant the subdivision in the company he worked for in the future.
No, that's not what a subdivision is.
All right, yeah, Lion Estates, that's easy.
Yeah, I was like, I think this one's
well, like a subdivision, yeah, for sure. Like in a company, yeah, like a vision of a division.
Yeah, because he ended up working for one of the bullies, Needles, and he gets fired by Fax. What a way to get fired!
Man, imagine getting fired by Fax in 2021. That'd be
yeah, exactly.
It's like, why did this fax machine show up at my apartment?
They would have to mail you. They would have to have like a courier bring you a fax machine, and then just
they Amazon you a fax machine.
Yeah, and then you're like,
plug it in
and you plug it in, and then get the fax. That's kind of a great like remote fuck you firing that happens.
Amazing.
Really legit. I would go through that process to fire somebody.
100%. If it's like a real piece of shit. Also, I don't think you can have a fax if you don't have a landline.
Oh, you do have to have a landline. So you'd have to purchase the landline, set up a
landline,
send the fax machine over. Then
so you have to call like Verizon or whatever and get a landline installed.
Yeah, a Verizon guy shows up at your door one day and he's like, I'm here to turn your line on. You know, and he does that, and then a courier stops by at the same time. I have a fax machine for you. It's not new. It's old. It's an old fax machine. You plug it in, immediately a fax comes through, and it just says you're fired. It's beautiful.
That's
amazing.
God.
That's amazing.
All right, fifth question. Here we go. Are the kids gonna eat tonight?
I'm gonna write fax machine down for the show notes. All right, very nice. All right, here we go. This is the last one. I think this is either going to be easy or hard.
2 ways to do that. Yep.
Listen, of the options, I can say it's either going to be one of the two things, easy or hard. Here we go. It will not be middle of the road.
It will either be one of the two extremes. Unlike gender, this is a binary. Here we go. Before the writers settled on the DeLorean.
Refrigerator.
What? There you go. It's the refrigerator. The original time machine was going to be a refrigerator.
And they were worried kids would emulate that and get in refrigerators. So they changed it to a car. And that's a fun little tidbit. I was so excited. Oh, I got a nerd boner right now. Just from getting that one, like, oh yeah, that was good. That was nice. That was a nice way to finish up.
It was even more of a nerd boner because you got to interrupt someone. That's nice.
Ooh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and with more information that you don't want to know. I mansplained. I got
well,
to
actually.
Oh, if it makes you feel better, I did. There was more. I could have kept going.
I'm sure.
But, yeah, it's all right. There's a nod to it in Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, or whatever the terrible, horrible fourth Indiana Jones movie was, where an atomic blast is going off, and so he jumps into a refrigerator to hide to survive the blast. Because initially, in the original script, like the first draft of the script of Back to the Future, it's in a refrigerator, and to get the energy, they actually go out to the desert in Nevada or New Mexico, I can't remember which, where they are doing the atomic blast testing. It's not a lightning strike. And he gets in the refrigerator, and it's lead lined, so he survives that way. So it was like a little nod Steven Spielberg was doing from Back to the Future. I just saw Ken's face just drop into like you asked the wrong person what time it was out in public somewhere, and then they just turned.
Like the
like,
whole thing, I was like, that
actually,
is so much.
Yeah, my aunt died. Let me tell you, my aunt died last week, and she gave me this watch. And every time I look at it, I think of the time we went to the Poconos, and while I was there, and there was a guy there. The second summer we were there, and I remember my aunt. At the time, I didn't know this, but she had an affair with him, and yeah, that's what it started to feel like. And I'm so sorry about that.
That was so much. I love little interesting facts like that. So I was like, yo, that's deep as fuck to put into a movie.
Yeah. And not even like, it's so wild because that's not even like a nod to the real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so far left. Like they're just reaching and they're like, that seems good. Let's keep that part of the
He basically said, hey, you guys remember when my buddy thought of this? Like, that's all it is.
It's weird. I hope I'm not misremembering. Now I'm second guessing myself, but I'm pretty sure that's what the reference was.
All I know is that there's no way I'm ever going to watch Crystal Skull ever again.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, before I left Maine, after I graduated college, I worked at a movie theater as their like marketing person, and I was also a projectionist sometimes, and I did the midnight screenings, right? And like all the new movie's out and it's going to be an event and people come and, giveaways and all that stuff. I have never seen such a reaction because these guys came dressed as Indiana Jones. They were so happy and excited. They went in, they watched the movie. I watched it from the projection booth. It was terrible. And then I watched these sad middle-aged men walk out dressed as Indiana Jones. They took the hats off. They all, without saying anything, they took the hats off. So because they just were ashamed, and it's the closest they could come to taking the costume off, and they walked out of the theater. All these guys that came there separately dressed as Indiana Jones walked out of the theater with their hats literally hung in shame. It was beautiful.
That's
so
fucking amazing.
So sad.
That was like that was mine and my dad's favorite movie when I was a kid, and we watched it a million times. And then we saw Crystal Skull together. I want to say I was in high school maybe, and I remember walking out and thinking, oh, maybe my childhood wasn't as good as I thought it was. I think maybe this isn't.
And then it unlocks everything for you, and then you suddenly remember, you're like, oh, my dad hit me all the time.
Yeah.
My dad used to beat the shit out of me.
My dad used to whip me and then punch me, and it would sound really loud. We went on that one trip to the jungle, and a man ripped my heart out of my chest. It was weird.
My
Ray
dad
Harrington,
was a Nazi?
Why is that why his face is all melty? I knew it. Shit. Ray, you are one of my favorite people in the entire world. Thank you so much for doing this. Tell people where they can find you.
Thank you.
Tell people where they can find you.
Yes. Sorry about the delay. Yeah, you can find me, Facebook, Twitter. Why do I say Facebook? Don't go there anymore.
No.
Twitter at Ray Harrington. On Instagram, I think it's Ray Harrington Comedy. Go to rayharringtoncomedy.com. All the links are there, and you can see some fun stuff. Web series just came out, all completed, and some fun stuff there called Undependent. So make sure you go click on the link, and there's 6 episodes to enjoy. And it's now an award-winning web series. So please enjoy. Thank you very much, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Is Be a Man still on Hulu?
No, it's off of Hulu, and our distributor thing is wrapped up, so I gotta fix that. The pandemic stalled out all of my switching things over. So for right now,
bummer.
Be a Man is waiting. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, fingers crossed, because I really, really thought that was a great doc, and I think the message is very good. And but yeah, so if you can, let's get that back up there, and we'll get some clicks for you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. Before we get out of here, we have one more thing we have to do. Headmaster Ken Hamlett, tell us how we did today, brother. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, geez. Great timing
Tell us
for
how
that
we did
brother
today, buddy.
statement.
I'm really sorry about that. So sorry. Oh my God, this is the reddest my face has ever been. Oh no.
It's fine. You did some accents from Philly and stuff, so we're just gonna call that part of the accent from Philly.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, man.
This episode was actually one of my favorite episodes. Like, I think this was actually my favorite episode. Some very deep moments, very serious moments with a lot of funny moments. So it was a good mix, real good mix. And I'm liking the way the direction the podcast is going. So I'm definitely giving an A on this one. This was a great episode.
I didn't even know this was happening at the end, and I'm thrilled that it did.
We have a weird moment between me and Ken. We get an A. We wrap it up. And of course, Ken Hamlett, you can find him at bigblackshongs.com, his real website. Awesome. It's his real website, bigblackshongs.com.
Bigblackshongs.com. Schlongs.
I'm sorry. I was hearing chongs when you said that, and I was trying to figure out what that meant, and all I could think of was
Ken
Tommy
loves
Chong,
salad.
and I was like,
he loves salad. He's a big salad guy. All right. For Ken Hamlett, for Ray Harrington. Hey, if you're out there, empathy, be cool to each other. We're going to get through this. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you guys. Donate to the charities. I'm at the Mike O'Keefe on all the shit. Thank you so much for Ken, for Ray. We'll see you in class. But until then, ass dismissed.